welcome, aware, danda, dumalang, molo, sabubona. Hukandat, and a warm welcome to the Endua Knowledge Cast, the podcast where your curiosity meets insightful conversations. Namusiriko Amba, a lekker discussion. Today, we're tackling something, we all know, but seldom truly think about deeply. Time.
Fascinating.
We're not talking clocks and calendars here, oh no. This deep dive takes us into some seriously mind-bending territory with the work of a thinker who sees the universe as a massive computer program. Imagine sitting around a fire under that endless Karoo sky, sharing stories about the universe's mysteries. That's the vibe we're going for.
That's a wonderful image, evoking a sense of wonder and exploration.
Right. So let's unpack this idea of time as a computation. This piece suggests that time is literally the universe running its program, step by step.
Yeah, it's a powerful shift in perspective. Instead of time just being a dimension, think of it as the progression of this cosmic program. And here's where computational irreducibility comes into play, a fancy way of saying you can't skip ahead in the program. Each step is necessary to get to the next.
Now, hold on. For us regular folk, what does that actually mean?
Think of it like a recipe for your favorite dish. You can't just chuck all the ingredients in at once and hope for the best. You've got to follow each step, each instruction to get that delicious end result. Or imagine trying to predict a game of chess just by looking at the starting pieces.
Yeah.
Impossible, right?
Yeah.
You have to play it out move by move to see how it unfolds. The universe, according to this idea, is kind of like that. You have to let the program run its course to see what happens.
Okay, I'm starting to get it. So basically, time is like the series of calculations the universe makes to get to its next state. No shortcuts, no fast forwarding.
Exactly. And that's why, all those sci-fi movies about zipping around in time might be more fiction than science.
Yeah.
This concept throws a spanner in the works of manipulating time at will. It suggests time has a certain built-in structure that we can't escape.
That's heavy, man. It makes you think differently about time travel. So if we're stuck on this one-way ride, why does time seem to flow in one direction? From past to present to future?
This is where things get really fascinating. Remember that braai we were talking about? Imagine dropping a whole tray of Boer words onto the coals. A bit of a disaster, right? Easy to make that mess, but trying to put each piece back neatly, now that's a mission.
Eesh, talk about a sad braai. And ja, entropy in action.
You got it. This is where the second law of thermodynamics steps in. Things tend to get more random over time, more chaotic. Just like that Boer scattering on the fire.
So the universe is like a braai master constantly making things messier. I mean, more random.
In a sense, yes. The universe is constantly evolving, things are changing, and that movement tends towards more disorder. And this constant change, this progression from order to disorder, is what we perceive as the flow of time.
Okay, I think I'm starting to see the connection here. But if the universe is this giant program, why don't we see the whole thing at once? Why this one step at a time business?
That's a great question. Imagine trying to watch a whole season of your favorite show all at once. It'd be overwhelming, right?
Yeah.
Our brains are designed to process information bit by bit. It's the same with the universe. We're like those old computers trying to run a modern game. It takes time to process all that information. So even though the program of the universe might be running all at once, we can only experience it moment by moment.
So we're like those ooms trying to figure out a smartphone. It takes a while to grasp all the new features, and it's the same with time.
You got it. Our experience of time is limited by our processing power, our ability to grasp this vast program.
Which also explains why we remember the past but can't predict the future perfectly. Like trying to remember the whole recipe after you've eaten the dish. Some bits are clear, others are a bit hazy.
Precisely. Now buckle up because things are about to get really wild. Are you ready for a mind-blowing concept?
Hit me with it. You know I'm always up for a good dose of cosmic weirdness.
All right, here goes. What if time isn't a single straight line? What if it's more like multi-threading?
Wait, hold up. Multiple timelines. Are we talking full-on multiverse here?
You got it. Imagine those choose-your-own-adventure books from back in the day. Every decision, every little choice could be splitting the universe into different paths, like a massive tree with each branch representing a different version of time, a different storyline.
Oh, that's intense. So you're saying there's a version of me out there who chose a different career path, a me who's a famous musician instead of a podcast host.
Maybe. Maybe not. The possibilities are mind-boggling. But here's the thing. Even if there are infinite timelines branching out, we humans are kind of like those big, clumsy giants trying to navigate a delicate china shop.
Right.
We're only able to perceive and experience a single thread of time at a time.
So all those other paths, those other timelines, they're like invisible threads woven into the fabric of the universe.
Exactly. And that brings us to the concept of the Rulliad, a truly mind-boggling idea that encompasses all possible computations, all possible timelines, all possible, well, everything.
Wait, back up a sec. What exactly is this Rulliad thing? It sounds like something out of a sci-fi novel.
Think of it like this. Imagine every single recipe ever created, every possible combination of ingredients, every dish that could ever be cooked, all contained in one massive cookbook. That's kind of what the Rulliad is like for the universe. It's a cosmic library containing every story that could ever be told, every possible outcome, every imaginable universe. And we're just a tiny part of that vastness. It's like we're exploring one tiny corner of this infinite library, just one shelf in a room filled with endless possibilities.
And each book on that shelf is a different timeline, a different set of choices leading to a different outcome. Man, that's some heavy stuff to ponder. But here's a question that's been bugging me. If each of us is like a tiny ant exploring this massive library, how come we all seem to experience the same reality? I mean, we all agree on the basic laws of physics. We experience time moving in the same direction, and for the most part, we all see the same world around us. How is that possible if we're all on separate paths through this Rulliad thing?
That's a brilliant observation, and it points to a fascinating aspect of this theory. You see, even though the Rulliad contains all possible computations, all possible timelines, we humans are clustered together in a tiny corner of this vast space. Imagine a school of fish swimming in the ocean.
Yeah.
Each fish has its own slightly different path, but the school as a whole moves in the same general direction.
So we humans are like a school of fish in the Rulliad, all swimming together in a similar direction.
Exactly. We all started our journey from a similar point, and we haven't diverged too far from each other. We're all experiencing a similar slice of the Rulliad, a similar set of computations, which creates the illusion of a shared objective reality.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about all those other possibilities, all those other timelines branching off from our own? Are they completely out of reach? Like, is there a version of me out there living a completely different life?
Well, this is where things get even more interesting, and we start to delve into the realm of quantum mechanics and the multiverse. Those concepts suggest that there might be other branches of reality, other possible timelines, existing right alongside our own. Think of it like this. Remember those old-school overhead projectors?
Yeah, those things that teachers used to show transparencies on. Man, that takes me back.
Imagine you have a stack of transparencies, each with a slightly different image on it.
Okay.
When you layer those transparencies on top of each other, you get a composite image. Now, imagine each transparency represents a different timeline, a different set of choices and outcomes. The Rulliad is like the entire stack of transparencies containing all possible timelines.
Okay, I'm with you so far.
But we humans, with our limited perception, can only see one transparency at a time. We're like those old projectors, shining a light through just one layer of reality.
So even though all these other timelines might exist, we're only able to experience our own little slice of the Rulliad.
That's the idea. It's like we're walking down a path in a dense forest.
Yeah.
We can see the path in front of us, but the thick trees and foliage block our view of everything else that might be out there.
But what if we could find a way to hack our perception, to see beyond those trees? Could we then explore these other timelines, these other versions of ourselves?
That's a question that pushes the boundaries of current scientific understanding. This theory doesn't provide any concrete answers, but it does open up some fascinating possibilities. Perhaps one day we'll develop technologies or techniques that allow us to glimpse those other layers of reality, to explore those other branches of the Rulliad. But for now, we're firmly rooted in our single thread of time, experiencing the universe as it unfolds step by step.
Eesh, that would be incredible. Imagine seeing all the different paths your life could have taken. But okay, let's bring it back down to earth for a second. Even within our own timeline, our own little slice of the Rulliad, our experience of time can vary so much. Sometimes it feels like time flies by, other times it crawls. How does this theory explain that? Why does a Monday at work feel so much longer than a Friday afternoon with friends?
You're right. Our perception of time is not constant. It's influenced by our emotional state, our level of engagement, even our age. When we're deeply engrossed in something we enjoy, whether it's a lekker brei with friends or listening to some Iskandi music, time seems to melt away. But when we're bored or stressed, like sitting in traffic on the N1, man, each minute feels like an hour.
Agman, don't even get me started on the N1 traffic. That's a time warp for sure. But what's the science behind this? Why does our experience of time shift like that?
This theory doesn't offer specific explanations for those subjective variations in time perception, but it does provide a framework for understanding them. Remember, our experience of time is a product of our brain's computational processing. And just like any computer, our brains can be influenced by various factors that affect their processing speed and efficiency.
So our emotions, our focus, even our physical state, all those things can impact how our brains process information, and that in turn messes with our sense of time.
Exactly. And it's also important to remember that even our cultural background can play a role. Here in South Africa, with our diverse mix of cultures, we see different perspectives on time. Some cultures view time as linear and structured, while others see it as more cyclical and fluid.
Yeah, that's true. You see it in the way we celebrate, the stories we tell, even in the way we greet each other. Time isn't just this abstract thing. It's woven into the fabric of our culture and our daily lives.
Precisely. Our experience of time is not purely objective. It's shaped by a complex interplay of internal and external factors, from the fundamental laws of physics to our personal and cultural perspectives.
This whole conversation is making me see time in a completely new light. It's not just this ticking clock that controls our lives. It's something much more profound and multifaceted.
And it's a reminder that even in a universe governed by computational rules, there's still room for wonder and mystery.
Well said. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here. We've explored the idea of time as a computation, we've journeyed through the mind-boggling Ruliad, and we've even dipped our toes into the multiverse.
It's been quite a journey through the landscapes of time.
It has. But before we wrap things up, there's one more thing I want to touch on. We've been talking about all this complex stuff, but how does it all relate to us here in South Africa? Specifically, I'm curious about how this idea of time as a flowing river connects to our concept of Ubuntu, that beautiful philosophy of interconnectedness.
That's a profound question. You see, Ubuntu at its heart is about recognizing our shared humanity, our interconnectedness with all things. And when you think about time as this, universal current that we're all being swept along in, it really does reinforce that sense of unity.
Yeah, it's like we're all in this river together, bobbing along, sometimes bumping into each other, each on our own journey, but all connected by the same flow.
Precisely. And just like a river shapes the land it flows through, time shapes our lives, our experiences. It links us to the generations that came before, to our ancestors, and to the generations yet to come.
Eesh, that's deep, man. It's like time itself is a thread weaving together the tapestry of human existence.
And in that tapestry, you see Ubuntu reflected in how we treat each other, care for our communities, and strive for harmony.
So even though all this theoretical stuff about time might seem complex and, out there, it actually links back to some of our deepest values here in South Africa.
Absolutely. It shines a light on the interconnectedness of everything, not just across space, but across time as well. It reminds us that we're all part of this massive story unfolding, and our actions ripple out beyond our own lives.
This whole conversation has been a serious mind-opener. Time isn't just about clocks and calendars. It's woven into the fabric of who we are, how we experience the world, and how we make sense of it all.
And the amazing thing is, even with all these rules and computations governing the universe, there's still so much mystery, so much wonder left to explore.
Well said. So to all our listeners out there, as we journey down this river of time together, let's hold on to the wisdom of Ubuntu. Let's embrace those connections we have and keep seeking out knowledge and understanding. Until next time, stay curious, keep those conversations flowing, and remember, sharp, sharp.